Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another set of videos back into some figure reviews because it's been so long since we've had some new Marvel Legends. It hasn't really been that long, but it feels like forever. But anyway, I have the new Marvel Legends Fantastic Four Wave, the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure. I got my set from RobotKingdom.com. I know Entertainment Earth is beginning to ship out. Big Bad Toy Store will ship out very, very soon. Dorkside has already shipped some out to folks, so it will be coming. It's going to be coming. You'll get it soon. When it will hit in stores, I don't know. Should be soon. Could literally be at any moment that you can walk into a store and see them there. But to consistently find them, I would say you're probably going to have to wait until February sometime. You may see it here and there in January. You may even see it randomly before Christmas. I don't know for sure. But anyway, let's get right to it. This is the highlight. This is the one everybody wants. Dr. Doom, and he is a very, very good looking figure from outside of the package. We're going to open him up here in a minute just to see what he looks like and compare him to a previous Dr. Doom figure, which I didn't think was terrible, but it's also not great. This one you can see has some huge improvements to it, so we'll get right to it. So Fantastic Four logo there. We actually get the Fantastic Four logo up at the top. You see Build-A-Figure Super Skrull there. Here on the side package we get some artwork looking kind of creepy that you see his big old bug eyes coming through that helmet. Looks kind of weird to me, but it's nicely done. Here we have a look at the product shot with Super Skrull Build-A-Figure, all the figures in the wave, and I will be going in order. I tried to do that. It just so happens that Dr. Doom is number one. Let's check out that bio. Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom uses his incredible intelligence and mystical abilities to oppose the Fantastic Four. Pretty awesome. If you guys want the UPC, I have a picture of it on my Instagram account, link in the video description below. But let's get right to it and open this guy up. And not a big deal, but the insert is actually really cool. I like that Fantastic Four logo inside there. Alright, and here is the Dr. Doom figure out of the package, and very nicely done. He is a beast of a figure. Some really cool things, and there's some things that are kind of a little iffy on it. And we'll kind of go through that as we get going in deeper into the review. Here is the left leg to the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure, and I think this is a Hyperion body mold leg because of the fat kinkles and everything, so it'll be interesting to build this guy. We'll get to that one after we look at all the other figures. He does come with interchangeable hands, so out of the package he has a left open hand and a right kind of holding hand, and then he comes with fists for both the left and the right. And then he has an additional interchangeable head here, so one gives a more classic look while one is a little bit more modern, and we'll take a closer look at those here pretty soon. And then he does come with a handgun, but it's already holstered, and I can't get... scared I was gonna rip that off, and it is this classic older looking old-fashioned style pistol that he should come with, rightfully so. So there it is. Now let's take a closer look at Victor Von Doom. Okay, so let's get in close to take a closer look at Dr. Doom here. So here you can see this is the one that this is the head that comes on the figure out of the package, and this is more of a modern look. The additional head is more of a classic look with the style of the helmet. You can see all the rivets and everything in there. Definitely a lot more classic looking as I try and get it to stay focused. Very good. So it's glued in the hood, so if you really wanted to, you could get it out. I'm not going to pop the glue to get it out, and you could see like how much of it is sculpted, but you could see that the face is a separate piece inside of the helmet. It's not made to remove or anything. It's just to give it that realistic depth look to the eyes, so that is really cool. And then here, you know, you could see it, and there's actually a lot more sculpted detail onto this head, and it's kind of unfortunate that you can't really get it all the way out of the hood. I mean, you can pull back the hood a little bit and see some of the design, and it's really cool. Here, you know, it's funny, actually, this looks kind of interesting. It's like this faceplate here is the separate piece, and that's it. So that's actually kind of interesting. So that the eye depth is there, but it's just, instead of a whole helmet, it's just that like facial piece there, because the rest of the head is done in that same silver color. So that's interesting. It's a very unique look to it, almost like more of a mask than a head. So that is really cool. Let's pop that back on there. It's just done on a ball. ball peg. And while I'm here at, I'm going to take the cape off, because on the back of the figure, and we saw this at, I want to say it was New York Comic Con. I know a few folks got to sit down with Hasbro to go to check these figures out. So he has these rocket boosters here on the back. They have little ports in there, so I'm sure you can plug in like the Iron Man blast effects, and I'll pull some of those out here pretty soon and do it. I think the trouble is it's resting really right on his back, so it may look a little funky. You may have to pop the little flare piece of it off, but really cool. We have the sculpted ties right there on the chest, where you can see like this tunic or whatever you would call this thing coming. Really good. And they have the texture, I don't know if you could hear that, actually throughout his, I want to call it a tunic, right? I don't know, it's not a dress. The tunic belt looks really good. We get some gold in there, brown for the belt. The holster is brown. Now, one thing really cool, and I didn't notice this in any images or anything like that before, we have these buckles throughout his armor. Why won't, there it goes, as it tries to focus. We have all these buckles throughout his armor, so the buckles are actually painted brown. So that is really cool. So here, and then you could actually see some silver onto the buckle portion of it as well. So those straps, really cool on his arm. And then he actually has the same thing for his legs. You could see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inner parts of his legs. So you could see that's where the actual armor that wraps around his leg, that's where it comes together. So that's actually a really nice little detail that they actually added onto it. So I'm pretty impressed with Hasbro for doing something like that. So that is really cool. The skirt piece comes apart here. It's not something that you're going to remove or anything, but that way it's not going to hinder the articulation of this guy too much. Actually on the other side as well, so you can actually be able to get some movement into the legs and stuff there. So really cool. Looking at the rest of the legs, you get some rivets and stuff in there that's sculpted on. So his feet with the armor really gives it that knight type of armor, you know, the protection that over the elbows and the knees and things like that. So I really like the way that looks. The cape is just done all in green. There's no paint or anything to it except for the gold right there. And it does port into the back of the figure, so you just wrap it over the neck peg, and then you can kind of push it into the back peg there. Kind of gets it to hold it in place a little well. Let's put the classic head on. And then you just pop the head on, and there he is. So pretty awesome. Now let's look at his articulation. Can't believe I forgot to mention this, but looking at the hood, not only the helmet designs of the two heads different, the hood design is also very different, where this hood is much larger and really covers his head, so his head is actually reset back in there quite a bit compared to this one, whereas this one's a little bit more open. You can see into it. It's definitely a lot harder on the new one, the more modern, to get a good look at that helmet. So on the classic, it's much easier to get a look at that helmet. So there's a big difference there. Okay, so articulation on this guy is a little tricky. So his head, he actually, I'm moving the torso like that. So to get his head, he can't look down that much. Oh, going up, you're gonna pop it off because of the way the cape is and the way it's designed to the hood. You can see how far down the head actually is on that ball peg. Let's get that back up and get that popped on there. So you're not going to get a whole lot of movement going up. Obviously you can get a full rotation there. Not really any pivot going on in there. The shoulder, the ball joint works actually very well. You can get that to go up pretty high. You can get a full rotation in there, and so it has a lot of good movement there. Upper bicep swivel there. We have a double jointed elbow, which gives you that much bend, which is solid. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, with both hinges being different. This one on the right is more of the roll of the dice motion, since this is the one that he would be using to hold his pistol. So ab crunch, there is no ab crunch. because this torso piece is one piece. So it's kind of like a diaphragm joint, but it's a more of the waist joint. So we've seen this with a few other figures, not a whole lot. I think like the MCU Doctor Strange has it, and I know there's some others that I can't think of right now, and I think Star Wars does this a lot. So the diaphragm's actually here in the waist, so there's no waist swivel either, but you could kind of swivel it around and get all kinds of good motion in there. So you can actually tilt to the side, tilt to the other side. You can get them to bend down that far forward, which isn't a whole lot, but you know, if you do it with his legs, and you can make it look like a bigger bend. Going back, he can go that far, but if you try and do it too much, you could see how that is. It's like a ball joint up there, so you want to be careful with that. Legs can go out pretty far apart. This right side's a little bit tough because the gun holster there, but you can get the legs to go out pretty far. Kicking out, it's a little bit of a problem because this rubber piece is going to really get in the way and hinder that, but you can do it more out the side. Of course, there is an upper thigh cut there, so you can get a little bit of twist motion, but the way that it's sculpted, you're not going to get go around a whole lot there. You get a double joint to knee, which works out well, and one thing that I really like is they actually sculpted like the chainmail actually in there, so that actually looks really good. You can actually see that in some other parts, like right here in the shoulder, and then actually in the elbow you see it as well, so really cool. The foot, you're gonna get a hinge that goes down, hinge that goes up so much, but the armor kind of gets in the way, and you do get a nice ankle pivot, but you really kind of have to work it a little bit because there's this ball. The ankle is a ball joint that's actually pegged into the calf, and then the foot pegs into the ankle joint, so you can have to really work around to get it to position how you really want it. Now the problem with this thing is, and this is my only gripe, and it's not even a big deal, is because of the cape. It can be very back heavy, so it wants to pull him back, but in some poses, depending on how you get it, the cape will actually help get him to stand up. Like right now, it get it to stand up. Earlier, it seemed like he just wanted to fall over, but that works out really well. So the articulation is actually pretty good for all the armor and things that he's got going on. Okay, and doing some comparison, so here he is next to the Epic Heroes Doctor Doom, and I think this may make a little, some people, I don't know actually how people are going to feel about it, but I've always been told that the Epic Heroes Doctor Doom is too small. Height-wise, I think he actually looks pretty good because you can see they're about the same height with their hood. This Doctor Doom maybe just a tad taller, but I see the bulkiness, so he's very thin, especially in the legs. You know, the tunic really looks like a dress on this guy. It's just kind of funky. So I think maybe that's what all the complaints were, his feet are huge compared. It's just the kind of things. Now, I didn't think this was a terrible Doctor Doom figure. I actually thought it was decent and pretty good. There is no comparison with this new one, though. This thing is just garbage compared. But you know, that's the way it goes when you know Hasbro re-releases things. You would hope that they would make improvements over something, and I think they really did here, and it really shows. So I'm extremely happy with this Doctor Doom, and I think you guys all will, because this one's just a little outdated. Again, don't think it's a terrible figure. It's just a little outdated. So when we look at other Doctor Doom figures that Hasbro has given us, we have Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, and then of course, and he's not really Doctor Doom, he's, you know, Iron Man. It's just Victor Von Doom in an Iron Man suit. Not that many people cared for the figure. I think it's a very good figure and a complete accurate representation from that run in the comics, so it works out quite well. But it's just not classic Doom, and here we have classic Doom, so I'm extremely happy with it. And I think you guys will be too. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. I know this is, for a lot of people, their most anticipated figure. Based on the review, you guys let me know, has your opinion on it changed? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.